But kids, all of my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who has slept. They are so sweet and so supportive and come out to shows, and like they have to get babysitters to come to my shows.
Those comments from Chappell Roan on the Call Her Daddy podcast has seemed to trigger quite a few conservatives on social media, which I just really don't know why. This is her perspective on how her own friends are feeling with very, very young children. Obviously, every child that she mentioned there is under the age of 5. She talks about how miserable the parents are because, yeah, they're gonna be exhausted. It's difficult to be a parent to a very young child or to a baby. But nonetheless, here are some of the reactions it spurred on X. The Media Research Center, the account for it at least, says that Roan, a Gen Z pop star who dresses in drag, claims, "All my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone who is happy with kids. Fact check, statistically, the happiest women in America are married and have children." We're gonna fact check that in just a minute, but it really does depend on the woman, and it also depends on whether she thought it through before having kids, or she's just kind of moving about the motions and doing what she's expected to do. We're gonna get to the research in just a minute, but Charlie Kirk added some fashion policing to his comments as well, saying that she is apparently famous, is a biological female who finds the need to identify as a female but dresses in drag. Who cares, but okay. By the way, haven't there been like a long list of celebrities singers specifically, who have dressed in drag?
Not only that, Rudy Giuliani dressed in drag, and then Donald Trump put his face in his fake bosom.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to remember that, but literally musical artists, like in the 80s especially.
Of course.
Like Boy George.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like, if we're being honest, a lot of those rock bands, I mean, what was with the eyeliner and the long hair and all that stuff? I mean, it was literally called glam rock. Yeah. That's right, Edwin just said it.
But anyway, I'll continue. But she says all her friends with young kids are in hell. I don't know anyone who's happy with kids. You should not be surprised that a person as obviously deranged as Chappell Roan, with the types of friends she probably keeps, would have such a dumb opinion. Fact, the happiest women in America, statistically, are married with kids. And then you have civil liberties lawyer Laura Powell, who argues that it seems that way to her because she mistakes self-indulgence for happiness. She only understands a shallow, fleeting sort of happiness. I don't know any childless people who seem truly happy.
Wait, look, let me jump in here. So guys, you can tell who's unhappy by the ones that are trying to police other people's conducts, okay?
Yeah.
So like, I'm super happy with my kids. I don't go around yelling at other people, you have to have kids. Okay, the people who do that are actually miserable. And that's why they're trying to get misery loves company. They're like, you better have kids. You better be going through the same thing I'm going through, okay? Whereas I think like, hey, I love my kids, and I think it would, I wouldn't even say I recommend it because it depends on who you are.
Yeah, it totally does. For some people, having children really gives them purpose in life. I would never in a million years take that from them or question that. But everyone's different. To say that everyone's the same, and if you have kids, it's going to improve your life significantly, is just incorrect. And by the way, the research bears that out, and I want to get to that research.
Real quick,
yeah.
Look, guys, by definition it's wrong because humans are on a spectrum on almost everything. So some people love kids. Like my mom, oh my God, I probably got it from her. We both can't get enough of kids, right? But I've seen many other people who are like, leave it or take it or leave it, right? And I've got friends who didn't have kids who were ecstatic, right? Why? Because we're different people. So if you try to apply the same thing to my mom and to my friend who doesn't have kids, of course one rule's not gonna fit all. So anyone who's telling you one rule is by definition wrong.
So So look, there have been many studies on this, so many studies in fact, that there is a meta-analysis where they look at all the different studies that have been put out in regard to happiness after having kids, and then they do the analysis, right? So let's take a look at this meta-analysis, and they find that the recent proliferation of studies examining cross-national variation in the association between parenthood and happiness reveal accumulating evidence of lower levels of happiness among parents than non-parents in most advanced industrialized societies. But conceptualizing parenting as a stressor buffered by institutional support, we hypothesize that parental status differences in happiness are smaller in countries providing more resources and support to families, meaning living in a country that actually supports couples who have kids or want to have kids. So our analysis of the European Social Surveys and International Social Survey Program reveal considerable variation in the parenthood gap in happiness across countries, with the United States showing the largest disadvantage of parenthood. It's real hard to be a parent in America. Let's keep going. We also find that more generous family policies, particularly paid time off and childcare subsidies, are associated with smaller disparities in happiness between parents and non-parents.
Yeah, so look,
think about it.
The reason the right wing keeps pushing this is because they have a policy agenda. They want more kids, and especially a certain kind of kids, right? So they're trying to get their side, and they've seen the polling that if you're single and you're female, you're 1,000 times more likely, that's hyperbole, but massively more likely to vote Democrat. So in their simple minds, they're thinking, oh, if we get them married and have kids, they will turn Republican. No, you're confusing correlation with causation, right? And so they're not gonna magically become Republicans, but they want a baby factory and stuff. But you can't tell people in their personal lives what they should do based on your policy goals in politics. Right, that's silly. Don't listen to politicians telling you how many babies you should have. That's crazy.
And by the way, the two are not mutually exclusive. You can both love the fact that you have kids, happy with your decision to have kids, but also, at least in the short term, be really tired and miserable because it's hard to raise kids.
Yeah, I actually think that you need to have a gene, in which a lot of us have, right? It's in the human.
I have many pairs.
Right, but where you have this overwhelming love for your kids. Otherwise, it's too hard. Like the hard part is baked in.
Yeah.
You gotta change the diapers. You've gotta be responsible for them at all times. You gotta make sure they're safe. You gotta take care of all their needs. That is super difficult. That's why we have the gene that makes us love our kids so much. But some folks have that gene a little less. And if you have it a little less or a lot less, I wouldn't really recommend it. Right? So just know yourself. And a super last thing, right wing, if you want more babies in America, at least pick the right policies.
Yes.
Right? If you did it like Northern Europe and you had an actual social safety net, we would have the breathing room for like paid family leave. We don't even give women any time off after they have a baby. Whereas all of the rest of the developed world has paid family leave. So when you have a baby, you can spend at least 12 weeks with your baby. So do the right policies, you'll get the right results anyway. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.